Hello, hello. Welcome to part two of going through Jill Bolte Taylor's book, My Stroke of Insight. She has a fabulous index in the back of the 40 things that she wishes everybody knew about while she was being helped to recover from her stroke. So we're on part two. We're going to go over number 11 to 20.
I have my
Do you
book
have
ready.
you have your book ready?
I have my book
So
ready.
again,
Yes, I do.
just a quick recap. Jill Bolte Taylor wrote, she's a neuroscientist and she had a stroke, and she wrote a book about her recovery from her stroke called My Stroke of Insight. And I think it's kind of most people's gateway into the world of neuroplasticity. That and Norman Doidge's book, The Brain That Changes Itself. We'll have to do one for that one as well. Fabulous book, highly recommended if you're a caregiver or somebody who's gone through a stroke.
You know that Norman Doidge's book is the gateway book that got me to being an not-binary method practitioner.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
It was the
And
first thing that I found that I then started getting like whipped into the vortex of brain plasticity, and I was like, "This is my jam. I really want to know more about this." So yes, we
that's
need to
right.
do something on that.
Yeah, we need to talk about that. Jill Bolte Taylor has also, I think she's one of the top 3 TED Talks on YouTube. So that's a really it's fantastic TED Talk. Definitely go, Google it. It'll pop up right away. But you can also buy her book, My Stroke of Insight, on Amazon for, $15 or whatever it is. It's very accessible. Fantastic read. So she has this amazing appendix in the back. What does she call it, Phoebe?
She calls it 40 Things I Needed Most. And what we are doing is we're coming at looking at this list through a lens of a not binary method neuromovement practitioners, and how these 40 things like line up so amazingly with the principles of the not binary method neuromovement, and how we use these things in our own practices as well.
Right. Because if you didn't know, or you're new to this channel, I am Jen Stewart. I'm an Anat Danielle method practitioner near Vancouver. And I, I became an Anat Danielle method practitioner after the birth of my daughter with a rare genetic disorder. But I certainly work with children and also adults who have a brain injury or are recovering from stroke. And Phoebe is also an amazing Anat Danielle method practitioner. Where are you in there?
Yeah,
Phoebe?
my name is Phoebe McCrae, and I live in Portland, Oregon. And I combine my life history of being a musician and getting a graduate degree in music performance with a not binary method neuromovement brain plasticity. It really is kind of hard to say the whole thing, isn't it? And I children, pediatrics, to catch up or get ahead on developmental milestones with children with disabilities or undiagnosed conditions. And I also help adults overcome anxiety and chronic pain. Yeah, it sounds like how could these be the same thing? But we'll get into it later on maybe another video, and keep tuned.
It all has to do with the brain. And so Jill Bolte Taylor was or is a neuroscientist. And these are the top things that she felt she really needed from her caregivers to support her in her recovery. And all of them have to do with the brain, supporting her brain in recovery. So we've already done 1 to 10. We're going to do 11 to 20. So number 11, Phoebe, what is the 11th thing that she wishes everyone had known?
Protect my energy. No talk radio, TV, or nervous visitors. Keep visitations brief, like 5 minutes.
I like that she actually specified the length, like 5 minutes. What is a brief visit? Brief visit to me means something very different than a person recovering from a stroke. Yeah, so 5 minutes.
Yeah. I like also the listing of all the things that might be like overwhelming senses. So it's like your auditory sense, your visual sense is sort of like trying to compute all these different things. And actually the energy of the person, people coming to visit as well. Like, yeah, that's a difficult one, because you really want to support your person who's had this major life event, which is a stroke, right? They've got a big brain injury now, and it's like really important for you to connect with them. But if you are not regulated yourself, if you're feeling really nervous, you're bringing that energy into the room, and that's not going to be helpful, even for a 5-minute short visit.
Yeah.
So doing that self work of like, what energy am I bringing into the room? Um, is it going to Am I making it more about me than about the person I'm going to visit, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I've been a caregiver in the situation of supporting somebody in a hospital, my child in a hospital, and it after so many days and so many hours of being in the hospital, you as a caregiver, you start to want your own needs, but just I guess this is just a reminder to I found myself really wanting to talk to somebody, or, you have all these anxieties about what's going on and nobody to talk to. So when somebody does come in, you talk to them about it. But this is a really great reminder to protect the person's space, right? So maybe the hospital room isn't the right moment to talk about what you as a caregiver need to unload. Really protect your person's space.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. So number 12.
Would you like me to read it?
Yes, please.
Stimulate my brain when I have any energy to learn something new, but know that a small amount may wear me out quickly.
Hmm.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, this is something that we even see on our tables, right? When we have a little person or a big person on our tables, the amount of information that we're giving them with some small, gentle touch, and which leads to brain development, even if it looks really tiny, even if it looks like we didn't stretch them, we didn't do something really big, we're just like touching them. Um, it can be massive. I mean, you have a little tiny infant on your table, and you start doing the work that we do, and they fall asleep,
Because they're
or
exhausted. Yeah.
because they're exhausted, or they get
Yeah.
really hungry, like really fast. Like the parents are like, I just gave them a snack. Well, the information, because it's growing the brain, because it's neural connections, it's eating up those calories that were already in the system. It needs more, or it needs to like, I need to just be asleep.
Yeah. It's such rich quality information that we're giving the person during a lesson that small doses are much better than crazy stimulation. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's how
So
brains learn.
the other call here is that like the stimulating my brain part is like, I want to get better. I want to
Yeah.
thrive. I want to, you know, you can assume that the person like wants the information, but just be really mindful of how much you are um, fire hosing them.
Yeah.
Because
That's a really good one. Yeah. Yeah. Most people want the challenge. They want to be challenged, but in small doses. Yeah. Don't fire hose your person. Yeah. All right. So 13. Hmm.
oh, I like this one a lot. I've
Hmm.
got my book here. Use age appropriate, like toddler educational toys and books to teach me.
Hmm.
Jen, do you want to take this one on?
Yeah. So I, I'm kind of on the fence about this actually, because that you have to meet the person where they're at. I think that's kind of what this number 13 thing is meet the person where they're at. So if they have had, if they're starting from basics, then start from basics with these basic toys, but also assume competence, right? I think that's really important too, right? So don't baby your person um, as well, but definitely start where the person is at. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
really good. The thing about toddler toys is the things that are are valuable with basic toys are things like understanding gravity,
Yeah.
understanding a shape versus another shape, Like it's so simplified that when like a bead goes along a little track or something like that, this is gravity happening. And it's the brain is like starting to make sense depending on how severe the stroke is, right? The recovery of the brain, like what are the major things that you learn when you're a toddler? You learn about cause and effect, you learn about gravity, you learn about your relationship with something else, like how the distance. I don't know. I haven't actually articulated what you learn with other toys, but the things that are going to be the building blocks on which you build other skills and make new connections. So
And that's
you're right about meeting somebody where they are. The toddler toys um, suggestion is valuable if the damage is so much that we need to build the fundamental building blocks first before we bring out the Sudoku or whatever.
right. um, yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. And it kind of goes along with the Annette Beignon method. We talk a lot about differentiation. So the brain learns through differentiation, and toddler toys and books bring that differentiation down to those foundational levels. What's light, what's dark, what's round, what's square, what's black and white sort of thing, right? So
Up,
yeah.
down, long, short, opposites.
Mhm. Yeah, opposites. And that's where the brain starts, notices differences, and then you can do finer and finer details. Yeah. Differentiation is such an interesting concept that I had no idea existed until I learned about the Annette Beignon method. And it's the foundation of everything that we do, right? Yeah.
The more differences you can notice, the more information you have, and the more intelligent or the more complex your neural pathways get.
Yeah. And that's applied to everything, right? Sight, sound, movement, finger mobility. It's, can your brain distinguish differences between all of these muscles and bones? Yeah. All right. So number 14. Ooh. Hmm. Oh, so introduce me to the world. Did we lose you, Phoebe? Introduce me to the world kinesthetically. Let me feel everything. I am an infant again. This is really good. We might have lost Phoebe.
I might be here. Can you hear
You're
me?
here. Yeah,
Okay.
you're here
I
now.
got a
Yeah.
little message that I had been unplugged my mic had unplugged, and now I was just like, sorry.
Okay,
I just
you're back.
pressed the button. Hopefully I'm back.
That's, that's the beauty of a live stream. You never know what's going to happen.
Here we are.
And so this is again, another foundation of the Annette Beignon method. Introduce me to the world kinesthetically. We use movement to access the potential of the brain's ability to change. So she goes on to say, let me feel everything. I am an infant again. So really creating the space for her brain to soak up these new sensations, and just like an infant does. Yeah.
Yeah, this is so directly aligned to Annette Beignon method and neural movement. Um, and it's no wonder that, I don't think you mentioned at the beginning that Jill Bolte Taylor went on to study with Annette Beignon because she was so feeling like the recovery that she did, that she talks of in her book, My Stroke of Insight, was really aligned with Annette Beignon's methodology, and she got really interested in ABM and M. Anyway, but this is in her list before she came across the work that we do, and uh, her mother, I think, like intrinsically somehow fundamentally knew that this was a really important aspect of recovery. Yeah, so it's bringing things in through the senses, right? Because we bringing information in through the senses, and if you can feel something, um, you have an understanding of it that you don't have if you just look at it or if you just hear it. But
Or you
what we're
just
looking
talk
for is
about it. Yeah.
just talk about it. Yeah. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. That's super, super powerful. I could go on a tangent here, but I won't. I'll control myself.
no.
Um, yeah. Well, I just had a question from a dad ask. is there anything I can do to help my child not toe walk? My child toe walks, and when I tell her to stop toe walking, she stops toe walking, but then she just goes back to toe walking a few seconds later. Is there anything I can do? And that ties in really nicely. You can't, it's very hard to change a movement by intellectualizing. Her dad tells her to stop toe walking, so she does, but those movement patterns are so habitual. That's what she's feeling. That's where the movement is coming from. It's not coming from, I will not toe walk. Like, you can't intellectualize yourself into discovering a new movement. You have to feel it.
Yeah. You have to feel how the function is better, is more optimal than the other way you're doing it. You have to like feel in your system how it's beneficial to you to do it a different way.
Yeah, exactly. Now, before we go on to the number 15, I didn't realize that we could see comments. So, hello. So, Suzanne says hello. So, hi, Suzanne. Thank you for joining us. I love it. Okay, so what number we're on? Number 15.
15. Teach me with monkey see, monkey do behavior. This is an interesting one.
Yeah, I think this is too. Yeah.
How do you think it relates to what we do?
Well, I would actually like to get her opinion on this. So if Jill Bolte Taylor happens to be watching this, give us our insight on number 15. Teach me with monkey see, monkey do behavior. Yeah.
It's interesting because we don't actually follow that as a fundamental of what we do at all, right? But I wonder if it's like we're not looking for somebody to just like mimic what we are doing. We are looking for them to feel within themselves, like number 14, isn't it? Yeah, number 14, feel within themselves how they function. But I wonder if this might be a kind of like narrating what you're doing. So if you're like, I'm pouring a cup of tea, I am adding a little milk, or
Right.
or something like that, like narrating what it is you're doing, so that, and maybe actually mirroring back to the person who's had the brain event what they are doing. Maybe it's like kind of reversal. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, so if their mouth is open wide like this, then you mirror that to them and say, I see your mouth is like this.
Yeah.
You can use a mirror, of course, but
and we do a lot of that with our clients in the Annette Benyel method, right? We do a lot of mirroring back and meeting the person where they're at, right? Where are they? Oh, your hand is this way. Oh, interesting. Whatever. Can you wiggle your finger in that way? Or what can you touch with your hand like that? Yeah.
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 We should call her up.
But I would like clarification on this. Yes. But if anybody else has some ideas of what she might have meant by this, that would be fabulous to hear from you. Yeah. So let's move on to number 16.
Trust that I am trying, not just with your skill level or on your, just not with your skill level or on your schedule.
Oh,
Wow.
maybe this is my favorite one. I don't know. Trust that I'm trying, just not with your skill level or on your schedule. Oh my goodness, this resonates with parents so much. Yes. Yeah. So not, again, meeting the person where they're at, not jumping ahead to where they might have been before their stroke or where you think they should be, right? Like, I think a lot of caregivers, you just put so much love and time and energy into supporting your person. And you have moments of like, oh, all this energy, and you're quantifying how much output there might be or results that you're seeing. And that's just not fair to do, right?
Yeah. And you can't even see all the internal changes that are happening, right? There's just so much hidden from our sight,
Mhm.
that we cannot see the neurons going together. We can't see the thinking process, and the yeah. So
Yeah.
trust.
What connections behind the scenes is going on for this person because they're having their own internal experience to the outside world, and their own internal experience is very different from yours. So, yeah, how you would assume you would grow and move forward is very different from how they're going to connect all those pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that, like, bringing in that factor,
Yeah.
that, like, feeling what's in, like, when you're not trusting somebody, you're doubting that they are trying, or they're doubting that they are even, on the same page as you or something like that. Like, what does it say actually about the person having that feeling? Like,
Mhm.
why it feels trustworthy of them. And anyway, a little internal work
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
caregiver or a visitor.
Yeah. Yeah, you could definitely dive deeper into that. These are such great ones for caregivers to really think about. Take your time going through this list if you have the book and kind of, it's a great reminder, kind of daily reminder. Oh, yeah, pick one out and kind of chew on it for the day and try to incorporate it. Yeah. Hmm. All right, number 17. Hmm.
Mm.
I find this one interesting too.
Oh, yeah. Ask me multiple choice questions. Avoid yes, no questions.
Hmm.
This is all very interesting.
We might have to get Jill Bolte Taylor opinion on this too, because I do use yes or no a lot in my lessons because it's differentiating. It's a simple opposite thing, right? Yes or no, um, instead of too many choices for the kids. Um, but maybe it's a thing of again meeting the person where they're at. So maybe where she was at, she was ready for those multiple choice questions. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I another aspect of having yes or no is that, that if you are having a hard time, like I am having a hard time verbalizing, like, if you have a hard time expressing yourself, or if you have kind of a communication block of some sort, yes and no can be so binary that they are easier to communicate, right?
Mhm.
And you can
But
just
maybe,
ask.
sorry. But then I'm just thinking like maybe it's too simple, right? So do you want ice cream, yes or no? When she really wanted a pizza, how are you going to get to what she wants, the pizza, when you're just asking a yes, no, ice cream, yes, you know what I mean? So maybe that's what she means. Yeah.
Yeah, again, meet the person where they're at. But
Yeah.
then I guess you have to have some, like some understanding of how to interpret that too.
Yeah.
How to figure out. You try multiple choice questions, and the person goes, like,
Yeah.
lost in a swimming, like, too much.
It's too much. Yeah.
Um, and yes and no questions, like, no, I wanted that other thing that you
Mhm.
didn't offer me.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm. Again, such a great one to like chew on and think about while if you are a caregiver of somebody recovering from a stroke, right? It's a really good thing to kind of check in, am I frustrating this person by asking a yes no question? Maybe I can switch to a multiple choice, right? Yeah. All right. So number 18.
mm,
Ooh. Mhm.
ask me questions with specific answers. Allow me time to hunt for an answer.
Yeah.
These must be from, like, different times in the recovery process, 'cause
Mhm.
we have 'cause we have the, like, "I'm an infant again, and give me toddler toys," and then also, like, "Challenge me."
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is not a 3-week recovery time. So, these must be, representative of different levels of recovery, or different times in the recovery process.
Mhm. And that might be the biggest lesson that we're kind of learning or highlighting through her work is, yeah, her recovery took her, I think she says it was 8 years, right? Before she was kind of fully recovered. That's a really long time, right? And she knows all the stuff how to do it. She's a neuroscientist. um, and she has that amazing support system to help her through it. But yeah, I'm not sure
I
where I
think
was going with that.
this is a great recommendation though. Like allow me to time to hunt for an answer. Like sometimes you just need more time. You know that the connection is faint, but it's starting to be there. And
Mhm,
you just need more time to make that connection to say the word or to hit the
mhm,
button or to um, turn the page or to whatever it is that the brain of the person just needs more time.
mhm. Yeah, I see this with kids and with my own daughter as well. Like, it's a multi-step. When you ask a question or ask them to do a task, it's a multi-step thing. They have to take in the incoming information and actually understand what you're asking. So that's a process in itself, taking in the information, have the brain organize it so they understand it, and organize an answer or a response that they want to do, and then get their physical body to actually coordinate the actual answer. That's a huge process. Yeah.
Isn't the human brain amazing? Oh my goodness.
Amazing. And us as like, typically functionally adults, it comes so automatic to us that we can forget that it really does take time to process incoming information and outgoing information. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 19.
Mm.
Oh.
Aha, this is very related. How do not assess my cognitive ability by how fast I can think.
Yeah. Okay, this might be my favorite one. Yeah, I don't know. I think it goes again the same thing with the last one, it- just because just because they're not thinking or responding as fast as you can doesn't mean that there's not a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes for them to take in that incoming information and produce an output. Yeah.
We would probably all do a lot better by slowing down before we respond.
Yeah.
In like all situations.
Yeah.
Was that actually a true thing that I just said? Just
Mhm.
came off the top of my head. Although we are making a live video right now, so like we're like pew pew pew. You know?
Yeah. Does not apply to social media, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That might be my favorite one. Okay. So number 20,
Handle
ooh,
me gently as you would handle a newborn.
it, which is exactly what we do as an At Banyao method practitioners. Yeah. Really treating that person, that body, that brain as something so sacred and delicate, and yeah, holding space for that
Yeah.
being.
Yeah. We might recognize that, an infant is super delicate and you need to be super gentle, but it's so easy to forget that when you see, a person who's had a stroke, they've lived quite a lot of life already and they are maybe they're robust and it, in the past before their brain event were really, I don't know, they could have been anything, right? But full of life, and you might go up to them and, like, touch their shoulder and be like, you got this. You're gonna be fine." But actually, that kind of like, remembering that they're when you touch them, you're touching their brain
Mhm,
because it's sensory information that's going to the brain. So,
mhm,
how you touch someone, how you speak to them, how they hear you, all these things affects their brain, and their brain is what is in need of extreme care at this
yeah,
time.
yeah. Yeah, be really mindful about the quality of information you're giving your person. Yeah. And that can't be said too much is like your touch. is literally you're touching their brain. You're giving their brain feedback, and you're in control of your touch, right? So how fast, how hard, how, whatever, how rushed you are with your touch, that they're taking in that sensation into their brain. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard us or anyone say that when you touch somebody, you're touching their brain.
Yeah. Genius, Phoebe. Yeah. Genius. So that was 10, part 2 of 10 of what Jill Bolte Taylor needed while she was recovering from a stroke. Let us know which one resonated with you. We'd love to hear from you. Which one made you go, I mean, all of them made me go, How about you, Phoebe? Which one is your favorite for this one?
I'm not going to be able to pick a favorite, Jen. They're all so great. And there was some questions that we had as well, like some need for clarification because it's not binary. The recovery, the recovery process or the brain building process is not. It's actually not like milestone based, and it's not about the time in which it takes for it to happen. And there was.
It's so individual, right? Jill's experience will be quite, I mean, there'll be similarities, but it'll be very different from everybody else's. Yeah.
So we'll follow up on the questions that we have.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So thank you so much for joining. If you want to catch part 1, the first 10 things that Jill Bolte Taylor needed, you can go find that. We just type down below, I want to hear part 1, and I'll send you the link. Otherwise, we will see you in the next video. Okay.